back to you.
Now you've really tied in like these books you wrote, Move It or Lose It, Fit Body, Fit Business, and Play the Game. So you've really combined this body stuff with business, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when I first really got into entrepreneurship, one of my I got into the health and fitness industry, back in the day in my early 20s. I actually was going to say I'd become a trainer of trainers, which basically means that I used to train the personal trainer
Mm-hmm.
to effectively help their clients get out of pain. And I used to help them also make more money because loyalty was really big back in the fitness industry. The more loyal clients you have, the less that you have to go out and go find new clients effectively. So the first book actually that I wrote, which was Move It or Lose It, was effectively a combination of using my health and fitness knowledge, as well as business acumen, and bringing them together. But it was mainly written for the corporate employee, so the blue collar worker, the white collar worker, etc., who effectively didn't always prioritize work and their career over their health. And so the idea of Move It or Lose It was, well, if you don't like move your ass type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna lose everything. You're gonna lose your family. You're gonna lose your relationships. You're gonna lose money. You're gonna have to reinvest your wealth that you've earned to back into your health, because you're gonna make a sacrifice. So that was kind of how it all came about off the back of that.
Now, what's your writing method? I mean, do you write when you're traveling? Like I know I just talked to you before the show, and if any noise in the background, I have a rescue dog here, folks. So
It's all good.
she's getting acclimated. But uh, Jenna, quiet, be quiet. You're on the show here now, kid. so um, so you're in Sweden now. You were in the somewhere the last time I talked to you, and then you're heading to Cyprus and all these other places. Do you write while you're traveling?
Yeah, it's a good question. Most of the time when I'm traveling, I'm either traveling on my own or I'm traveling with my kids. Obviously, traveling with kids, there's no writing happening because I've got very young kids. So, no, in fairness, when it came to writing, what I tend to do is I have to go into a state of focus and self-discipline. That's what athletes are very good at: self-discipline,
Yeah.
the habit of self-discipline. I always find that depending on obviously what the topic is, what the message is, etc., and who you're writing for, is going to depend on how your work rate works out, right? So for me, I tend to work much better when it comes to writing a book around lunchtime. It tends to be my super focus time. I can really get my head down. I'll do like 60 to 90 minutes of just pure written stuff, and then I just stop and move on to something different. Because if you focus too much on something, then it's just not a good thing. Like for me, I just do it in short bouts, and then over to 6, 8, 10 week period, depending on how big the book I want it to be, it's going to depend on how disciplined I am in order to get the words that I need to get. So if I need to get the 40,000 words, then how many words do I need to get, and break it down, reverse engineer, and then go from there. So that's kind of how I work. But my mapping was really good for me as well. My mapping works really well for me in creating the books. So, I mean, I've written 3 books now. So, I'm kind of used to it. It's not my favorite way of creating content, in fairness, Tom. Doing things like this is something that I really enjoy doing, like creating audio and video content. But I seem to have found a little bit of a technique going.
Now, since you're an elite athlete, I'm sure you have a nutrition aspect to your regimen. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm a big believer, right? So the and I talk about this a lot in my speaking, is energy, right?
Right.
Um, Entrepreneurs and business owners in particular, they really underestimate the currency of energy, right? So what you put into your mouth and also into your mind, because if we look at energy in four different aspects, Tom. We look at emotional energy, we look at spiritual energy, we look at mental energy, and we look at physical energy, the physical form of energy.